Welcome to you, the Team Butterfly Effect All Hands call. It is Friday, November 6th. And as always, I love ending my week with you guys. And I really want to start out this call by giving some mad props and mad shout outs to all of the Fall Classic challengers right now and the participants, because I have to admit, I have been blown away by the engagement and the leadership. Um, like Jill Leptoski has her daily prompts in there that helping making inviting and finding new friends and so on fun. And me and Anne and Trisha are all taking turns sharing our best practices too and giving tips and motivation. And I've really been blown away by the amount of participating we've been having. And so I just want to say shout out to all you guys. But I also, if anybody is watching this who's not involved in this group, and I've decided that I want to open it up to anybody who wants to just be involved in this whole seed planting thing. So it's too late for you to officially be a part of a Fall Classic team. We did have to be registered last week, but it's not too late to start planting seeds for first quarter. I mean, because remember, it's like this is the time of year right here, right now, where people are paying attention to what you're doing and if you're being consistent. They might not be ready to start their journey, but if you're not being consistent with yours, when they're ready to ask for help, they're going to ask help from someone who's been consistent recently. So if you want to have people thinking about you when it comes to health and fitness, or if you just want to, you know, come back, and if you listen to the team call last week of talking about sharing this being a moral and ethical obligation as a way for us to truly help change the world, one family at a time, then this would be a great opportunity for you to jump in and just take the pressure off, because we're not focusing on sales, we're not focusing on commitments, we're just focusing on planting seeds. So we would love to have you join us. So if you're not one of my personally sponsored coaches and you're interested, please reach out to your coach and he or she will make sure to get you added to the group. Absolutely. So today I just wanted to dive into what you guys are needing, what you guys are wanting from me as far as assistance and nuggets and so on for help. I made a post last week. It said, "What do you need?" It's like, the team page had been a little bit quiet over the last couple months, and I realized first quarter is a struggle, or fourth quarter is a struggle for some of us. And so I really wanted to know what you guys needing, because those people who voice up and voice their opinions are the ones who get what they want. So they often say the squeaky wheel gets the oil, or I don't really know the exact, maybe that's not the exact phrase, but the squeaky something gets it, whatever. So meaning, I'm not asking you to be squeaky because you're being frustrated or gripey, but I'm asking you to be squeaky and just communicating, right? So I'm going to start off with Jill Leptoski and Heather were really the only ones who commented on there. Well, Anne did. I don't know if Anne wants me to give her a morning wake-up call so she'll get up and get out of bed earlier every morning or what, but that's what she wants from me. That wasn't quite what I was looking for, but that's okay. But Jill Leptoski and Heather posed some interesting things, and Anne chimed in and helped and gave some comments, but I'm wanting to address those as a group, as a forum, because my firm belief in how one of my biggest philosophies is that we're more alike than we are different. So if one person had the question, there's probably multiple people who have the same question, but just haven't been brave enough to speak up. So I have my notes here, and Jill's main question was on developing posts for social media. What processes or apps do you use, and how do you figure your content, and how do you manage your posts, and what gets the most engagement and best practices? Okay, so let's talk about all that, and I am going to give I'm going to vocalize Anne, some of the things that Anne commented on that post. I'm going to echo, because I firmly agree with a lot of the things she said, but I will kind of build on that too. So the main thing is just being engaged in the group, being engaged in your workouts, and being engaged in your personal development. The reason why being engaged is so paramount for knowing what to post is because you have inspiration. Like if you're just trying to pull for some just trying to pull stuff. Sorry, I hope your kids in the room. Give me a nod real quick if kids are in the room. Anybody have kids in the room? Give me a nod. No, okay. Yes, Kristen, are kids in the room? Are kids in the room? Yes. Okay, okay. I was about to use words that maybe kids don't want to hear. I'm not looking for you just to pull something out of your rear end. There we go. I am looking for you to actually be inspired, right? So meaning like content. How do you get your content? Well, I post about the workouts that I'm doing. Um, give I give a comment on how it kicked my butt, or I talk about how it was out of my comfort zone. Um, or let's see, did someone just chat? Thought I just heard someone chat. Oh, maybe not. I was hearing something that must have been from something random. Sorry, guys, for that distraction. Um, but also, personal development is key as far as knowing what to post about too. So I personally kind of follow a daily structure like this with my posts. I post in the morning something motivational, whether it be motivational for workouts, motivational personal development, motivational, spiritual. But usually that motivation that I post in the morning is something that I've been studying within my own personal development. That's really inspired me. And so that's usually my first in the morning post. And just depends on which mode of personal development I've been doing as far as how I make that post. So what I mean by that is if I've been doing a lot of like leadership personal development, I may I may just give that to you guys. I may just give that to you guys, meaning I may post in my VIP group or I may post on our page something about leadership. I don't do that as much as um on my personal page. Maybe that is a flaw of mine. I'm not for sure, but I don't find personally that a lot of people are looking towards me to me for leadership advice. Uh, but let me pause there with that. Have you ever taken time to do like a market research study on your page? Like literally just making a blanket post of, I'm just curious. Like I challenge you to do this. See, I am doing some market research. Why do you follow me? And like make a list of things that you feel like might be the reasons why people follow you. So like if I were making this post, I would be like, I'm doing some market research. I'm curious. Why do you follow me? Are you the most interested in hearing about fitness, about nutrition, about making your heart happy? Are you like I post all the things that I'm really passionate about and like to talk about, and I ask people what is it they're looking to hear, because here's the thing, guys, is we want to serve our audience. Because no matter the part that I find really interesting, even though I like to talk about spirituality the most, I like to talk about going deep in meditation and all those things. Every time I post a market research question like this, do you know what people say, what they follow me for? They like my positive energy. They like that I promote not taking yourself so seriously. They like that um they like they like the silly, and I this may resonate with you, may sound frou-frou, but they like my fairy energy, right? They like the fairy energy vibe from me, okay? And that is very much a part of my personality, right? I kind of joke around that I have like the fairy aspect, and then I have the priestess minister part of me that's very deep and very serious. And honestly, guys, I feel it more at home in my own skin in the deep minister priestess like personality. That's where I'm like feel the most myself. Um, but not as many people care about that. And so if I'm serving my audience, I need to post more of the fairy energy stuff. So um so I know I kind of went on a tangent here, but it's the idea as far as where do you get your information as far as what you post. First, you got to know why people follow you. First, you got to know what do people follow you. And so then, yes. So and as Anne also mentioned, as far as being engaged, which I really love, as far as being engaged in the groups. Like, when was the last time you really dug into the back office and breaking news or listened to the national wake up call to know what's going on in the business? Do you even know what's new coming out? Are you talking about hammer and chisel? Are you talking about Body Beast and your experience with the 21-day fix? Because hammer and chisel is what's coming next. So you have to have it in your mind as far as, how can I capitalize and help people with what's coming up next? Well, you got to know what's coming up next. So you have to be engaged in that. So engage in your personal development, engage in your workouts, engage in Beachbody, and use those things that you learn to share. So that's where I get my content. There's no secret formula to that. Anne was right on the money on that one. Now, so as far as how do I manage my posts, me particularly, it's usually something inspirational in the morning. Usually there's I do some sort of accountability check-in in the middle of the day. So maybe something about my workout, maybe something about nutrition. And then at the end of the day is usually when I really give my content. So I'll post maybe a recipe that I made recently. Maybe that's when I post my yoga videos, sharing with people different moves or workouts. Maybe I share a really vulnerable story that I think might be inspirational to someone. I really share the content at the end of the day. And the reason why I share my content at the end of the day is that's when the majority of my followers are online. So if you have a like page, you can go in and look to see the demographics of who's following you and when they're online. So the majority of the people that follow me are online at the end of the day. So that's when I post my nuggets, my good content. However, if you're a newer coach and you don't have a like page yet, which you don't have to necessarily if you're a newer coach, I would maybe do a couple experiments, because you can't run any analytics to know when people are where, but maybe just experiment with making different types of posts at different times of the day and literally tracking it to see when you get the most engagement from people. But I bet it's probably early in the morning or in the evening is when you probably get the most engagement. So, and then there's the next question is, what gets the most engagement? This is the most freaking interesting one to me. It's what gets the most engagement. I don't know about the rest of you guys. And I'm actually going to take some people off mute here in a second, or if you'd rather put it in the chat box, you can. I'm interested to know when you get your most engagement or what post gets your most engagement. This is what I found to be true for me personally. My random BS gets the most engagement. And that makes me so frustrated, right? It makes me so frustrated because I'm like, I just spent so much time putting together this amazing video, or I did all this research and put together this great article that's so informative. Why is it, honestly, guys, the posts that get me the most engagement are my rants. Maybe about every other week or once a week. I need to do it more regularly just because it boosts my Facebook and affinity. I'm not a very aggressive personality type, so I think people are interested. I always start it with warning, rant coming, and then I just have a rant of whatever has just frustrated me recently. And I always try to put some sort of like silly spin on the end, so it's not just me being gripey, but those rants, or sometimes I'll put like random poll and just like ask a random question. Like the one I did the other day is, if you knew there was going to be a nuclear holocaust in 20 years, how would you change your life? Those get the most engagement for me. So guess what? I do them semi-regularly, at least once every other day, in order to boost my affinity. Because I know personally that's what, like, people like drama, right? Even though I don't necessarily like drama and I avoid the news and all that crap, so I don't have to invite it into my world. But we have to meet people where they are. And if we want people to see the positive stuff we put out there, we have to get in their news feeds. And if you're not putting anything out there, so maybe they need health and nutrition, but maybe they're just not ready to start that journey yet. But they might be in 6 weeks, they might be in 6 months. So in order for you to be in their news feeds, they have to like or comment or something on your posts every once in a while, and vice versa, right? So okay, when I was in college, I had this book called The Book of Questions, and they were just random stupid questions. And I went through a phase like last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, where I literally every night before I went to bed, so at like 9 o'clock when I have my most engagement, I would post one of those questions every night. Not because it was anything interesting or anything good, but because I knew that engagement level would boost my affinity. So when the next day I posted something of value, people would see it. And so the idea is hopefully when they're ready, they'll see the stuff that actually will serve them and help get them motivated to make that life switch. So I'm just curious to know, because this is definitely not all about me. I'm going to take everybody off mute for just a second and tell me if you find it different as far as when do you get your most engagement. Trisha, when do you get your most engagement? What sort of posts? Not when, what sort of posts? Like when was the last post you made that people commented and liked and stuff on?
It's been a while. Actually, I was just looking at that today. My last 5 posts hardly have any engagement whatsoever. And I don't know if that's because haven't been posting as regular.
Okay.
People are seeing my posts right now. Or what. But that was funny you said that, like, just dumb random stuff, because I put something dumb and random on there yesterday and nobody's commented at all.
Well, it makes me wonder if people are seeing your stuff. That's
what I'm wondering. And then because I get most engagements more on healthy food stuff.
You do. When was the last time you just went through and liked and commented on people's stuff?
Oh, every day.
You do?
Every day.
Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. Everybody's experience is different. Okay, Anne, what about you?
Food posts, for sure.
Food posts get the most for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like anytime I post, well, I try to make my pictures look really good, but which takes extra time. But for sure, if I post a picture of a meal I was eating or a workout video, especially if the kids are in the workout video, I get a lot of engagement.
Okay. I love that. So everybody's different. See, people follow you for different reasons, right? Okay. So what about you, Eric? What do you get the most engagement on?
I would say my motivational little things I throw up in the morning and stuff, I seem to get a lot of engagement with those. A lot of likes usually, a handful of shares too. So tells me people are sort of liking what they see and passing it on to their friend list and their people in their news feed as well. So
FYI, I like that Eric brought up that he gets shares off of that. You guys need to make sure you follow the shares. So if someone shares what you post, make sure you go to their page and like it. And every once in a while, go back and check in and see if anyone likes or comments on the post that they shared. Because if you have a friend who shared your post and you have people comment on your friend's page that they liked the post or they engaged on that page, at that point in time, start to engage on that post with them. So then you can send a friend request to your friend's friend who is engaging on the post that was shared of yours. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to then actually bring it back full circle and get benefit out of it. What about you, Tara? What post gets the most engagement?
Food and stuff that includes my girls.
Okay.
But I get the most shares out of inspirational stuff.
You do? Okay, good. What about you, Kristen?
Anything that has him involved in it.
Yeah.
Whether it be a workout or him, something silly that he did. Like the other day when he was eating spinach, I posted about that. And then I turned around and he was eating the dog food, and I got like so many likes and comments about it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's anytime you can involve a kid or a dog in what you're doing, do
Yeah.
it. I take that back, guys. The other ones, if you randomly see me posting pictures on about Sterling, my dog, it means I need my Infinity boosted, because honestly, that's my secret. Oh, I need people seeing my stuff. Let's post a picture of Sterling. Like, people love my dog. So that, yeah, the kids and the dogs definitely do it. Let's see, is Jill Leptoski on the phone? Is that who's on the phone? Who's on the phone?
No, it's Eileen.
Eileen, what posts of yours get the most engagement?
I would say motivational.
Motivational ones. Okay.
Yeah.
So I say, guys, as far as your engagement is concerned, ask people, why do they follow you, and serve them more in that way. I think that's really interesting. I like, though, what Ann said, though, about the food. I do get a lot of when I post recipes specifically with the food, I get more shares there. Or if I post a picture of something that I've made and I say, comment below if you'd like the recipe. That's a good one too. Just say, comment below if you'd like me to PM you the recipe, because then they have to comment on it if they like it, and therefore that boosts your affinity as well. So people see.
And I see a lot of coaches say like 25 likes and I'll share the recipe.
Ooh.
So people will like it just so that later on which helps a lot. So
that's a good piece of advice too. I like that. Thanks for adding that in.
Right now, if you don't post like healthy recipes, I would say start, because right now, as everyone's looking for, because the holidays are coming up, especially if you can try out some new holiday recipes that are healthy versions, I think.
Absolutely. And don't, avoid the urge to do this. I know when you see somebody post something that's so inspirational or such a great idea, all you want to do is just share it because it's easier to do that. But guys, don't share other fitness expert stuff. Don't do it. Because what are you doing? You're pointing a finger at them that says, I'm getting inspiration from them. So if I were a random person following you, what am I going to do? I'm not going to engage with you. I'm going to go click on their stuff. And I'm going to be like, oh, okay, well, Aubrey's actually inspired by Fit and Funky. So I'm seeing she's sharing Fit and Funky stuff. So I'm just going to go click on Danielle's Fit and Funky, and I'm going to go follow her instead. That's my psychology of what I would do. So I know it's so much easier just to hit share, that share button, but it's going to be more beneficial for you if you read what they wrote and you summarize it and you put it in your own words. I mean, it's your personal development at that point. You summarize it, you put it in your own words. Or we all know, hello, change one ingredient and all of a sudden it's your recipe. I mean, if you're not doing the exact same thing. So if you decide, if on that recipe they use brown sugar and you're going to make it more healthy by using honey, look, I've just made this recipe healthier. Whatever. Okay, so, and what best practices for videos? Oh gosh, we're going longer than I thought I would. We have more to talk about than this. Best practices for videos. I personally, I would love to hear from some of you guys to hear what you use. I am an Android user, and when I switched from my iPhone to my Android, all I use is KindMaster, which KindMaster, and let me tell you how that's spelled. It's KINEMASTER, KindMaster, and it's almost identical to iMovie as far as what it produces. What I really miss about my iPhone was I was able to use one called Insta Video Collage, where I could put a picture of my workout and a clip of I could put a clip of my video workout. So there would be like pictures and video all within one. And I haven't found an app that looks good like that with my Android. It changes that app I used to use on my iPhone. So again, on iPhone, I used Insta Video Collage. It worked great, but it makes my sizing funky. on my Android. Does anybody have any suggestions for Android users for those video collages?
Does it zoom in on it?
On the Insta video collage?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can change the shape by fitting it in there, it does, and then it changes the I don't even know the proper word terminologies to say that I don't know if it's the ratio as far as the size, of that's concerned. What other video apps do you guys use?
I use Pick Play Post.
Is Pick Play Post an app or is it on your computer?
It's an app for the iPhone.
For the iPhone, is it specifically for the iPhone?
Yeah, I don't know. It might be for everybody, but I have to, a lot of times, like if I'm doing a picture, and because you can do pictures and videos in that, but if I'm putting in a picture, it'll automatically zoom in. So I'll have to use Vonto.
Vontos? What is Vonto?
It's PHONTO.
Okay, and what's that do?
I just start with like a plain black background, stick the photo on it, and then it makes it a lot smaller so I can zoom in where I want it. It's kind of but it's the only way I've found to get around that.
Okay, and that's looks kind of like a workout collage thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Pick Play Post does,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It's on Android too.
It is on Android too?
Yeah.
Have you played with it,
Eric? No, I just downloaded it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. That will be something that I will play with this week. I'll report back. Maybe are you also Android? Also an Android user, Eric?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Let me know how your experience is. You play and I'll play, and we'll give everybody feedback later. Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. Last thing was that Heather asked was, how do you thrive in last quarter? She said tips and tricks for making it through the fourth quarter and not feel, quote, lousy about it. Honestly, and I know you're going to get tired of hearing this, but just by that terminology, I'm going to ask you, how much personal development are you doing? That's the first thing I'm going to ask. Because if you're feeling lousy about something, right, that tells me that you need more personal development, period. So I'm calling out Heather here. She knows her and I've talked. She struggles with getting her personal development in with her busy career woman life. So, but I would definitely say if you're struggling right now, take the pressure off of yourself in regards to, I know we all want results right now. I know we all want those Success Club points. I know we all want the money for Christmas, right? But I would say first and foremost, ask yourself a couple things. If you're struggling this quarter, are you doing your vital behaviors? Period. And have a serious gut check. Are you doing your workouts? Are you drinking your Shakeology? Are you doing your personal development? And if you're not doing one of those three things, you're gonna have a hard quarter. Period. Bottom line. Because if you're not doing your workouts, right, you're not as inspired to talk about them. You're not as inspired to share them. The same with Shakeology. The second thing about your workouts, too, this is the time of year, guys, where depression runs rampant for people. Okay? It's like people who have lost family members, people who are stressed for money, or whatever. There are so many different reasons as to why this time of year could be extra stressful for you. There's also a million reasons for it to be extra uplifting, because it's time for you to get together and you celebrate things that are beautiful and wonderful in our lives, right? So if this is a tough time of year for you, I would ask yourself, is there anything that could possibly put you on more of a depressant end? Like, have you lost a close family member recently, or even in the last couple years, and your heart's still hurting, and maybe this might be a hard time of year for you? Then guess what? Your workouts and your personal development are even more important right now, because your workouts are needed to help with the serotonin, right? The happy chemical that makes us happy. The personal development is good is for uplifting. We all have to remember the way we feed our minds and the way we treat our bodies are directly reflected. And I'm not trying to say that if you're doing your vital behaviors, like if you're doing your personal development, you're doing your workouts, you're drinking your Shakeology, and you're doing all that, and you're still not having any results, then, I ask you to ask yourself, how consistent are you being about posting, about sharing what you're doing, talking about what you're doing? Are you being vocal about those sorts of things? And I know this may seem like it's like I'm looking for some magic nugget, something different besides do your vital behaviors. But that's the first thing I want you to do the gut check on is, are you doing your vital behaviors? And if you're doing every one of your vital behaviors and you're still struggling, my next thing to ask you is what can you do to shift your focus to not feel lousy about this time of year? So if you're not having anybody in who is accepting your help as far as joining your challenge group, do you have anybody in your downline who you could focus on helping right now? Do you have any customers or coaches who could really use some uplifting? Because you know what, guys? The best way to feel better about you is to go help somebody else. That's the best way to uplift yourself, is by helping others. And I know sometimes we're like, but Aubrey, I just need that paycheck for Christmas. I just need that paycheck for Christmas. I need to push through and I need those results. Sometimes, easier said than done, right? But sometimes, like, if you know you're doing all the right things, you're doing the vital behaviors, you're showing up, sometimes you have to surrender. Let go and let God. Whatever you want to, whatever terminology you like to use, and then go out there, get out of yourself and go out there and help somebody else. Whether it be with their workouts, go do a little volunteer ringing session for the Salvation Army. Do you know you can volunteer for that online? Like go get engaged with somebody who's doing something special for Thanksgiving for service. Go out there and do a freaking service project. That's going to make you feel better. And you know what that's also going to help you do? Make new contacts. Okay? You'll make new contacts that way. So that's my best suggestion. If you're struggling this quarter, do a gut check. Are you doing your vital behaviors? And if you're not, do them. Do them. Show up. Get engaged with us, get engaged with Beachbody, get engaged with your communities. And if that's still not getting you the results that you want, get out of yourself and go do service, because we all know service is going to make us all feel better. So I love you guys so much. Is there anything extra that my wonderful people who showed up today have that you want to throw on the table? Any words of wisdom or any extra advice?
I will say, as far as personal development goes, I always struggle with my personal development, but since I started listening to audio in my truck, I drive about an hour each way to work. So what better way to pass the time than listening to personal development? I usually get my YouTube going on my phone, play it through my speakers, and just listen to Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar or whoever. And I used to be addicted to XM satellite radio and had to listen to the sports and everything else in the morning. Now I just throw on Jim Rohn and just listen to his words, and it really helps to get all your personal development in. So that'd be my little tip.
I agree. My phone is carried with me everywhere I go in the morning, from the time I wake up and get my kids to school until the time I go to teach, which is generally at about 10:30. So except for maybe I turn it off for a little bit for my spiritual practice. But I mean, I get a good 2 hours of personal development every day because of audio. I'm just carrying it around, listening to me with wherever I go. And I understand for those of us who really like our tunes and our music, because it's our way to just lift us up and get us into a good mood. I completely understand that. But remember, sometimes music can also take us in the other direction. Just that wrong song come on, we're like, oh gosh, that just makes my heart hurt because that song does that to us. So just be intentional. What is your intention for this segment of your day right now? Is it because I need to get my body pumping and my vibe up and I want to listen to something or is it that I'm ready to I see Anne does her little right. Or is it that it's time that we just need to get it done? we need to check the personal development off the list and figure out when you can do it. Audie is a great way. Thanks for adding that in here. You guys have a freaking fantastic weekend. Take some time. I'm going to be the one to tell you, take some time and unplug this weekend for just a little bit, will you? Like, engage with those people and those experiences that fill your cup, so you're ready to dive back in and hit it hard, because we got lives to change. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.